wanted to talk about bird watching. I don't mean to look so stressed. Um, I had a revelation the other day that bird watching is really important because you are um, watching a dioecious. Let me start that over. So when I worked in Colombia, it was really strange to me that National Geographic, thank you whoever's here, thank you very much. Um, National Geographic was asking for support in some way from USAID where I worked about how to promote bird watching in Colombia. So Colombia is known as, evidently, they say, the country with the most variety or biodiversity of birds in the world. Which, if you've ever watched this, if you've watched some of my videos on this channel, I talk a little bit about my desire to understand the word Colombia. And one of them is that Colombia has to do with doves and birds. It's a electrical measurement, COLOUMB. And there's just a lot with Columbia. Washington, D.C. is the capital, is the District of Columbia. So all that. Okay. There's a lot. Not all that. I don't think a lot of people think about this, but I think about this. So it's been swimming in my mind for years. I'm like, what's this with this bird watching thing? It's crazy expensive. Okay. Like what I remember from like 2010, 12, around there, it was something like $500 a night in this random area. And at that time of my life, I was like, that sounds like the most boring thing in the world. Like just watching birds all day. Okay. Recently, I think what kicked me into thinking about this was my dear friend came and told me, she's like, I'm into this. And my daughter, who's a young woman, I'm sorry about my armpit. If that offends you, my daughter, she said her daughter was into this and she's getting into it. And I was like, that's really interesting that that's a trend right now. Like her daughter's like 20 and highly educated and beautiful and lovely. Everything I've heard, I can't wait to meet her. And I thought, interesting that that's a trend, right? Well, a few days ago when I was in Colombia, I thought I was watching the birds. And I watched this bird on the beach, which is called a Maria mulata. Maria mulata. We'll have to look into that. Mulata tends to, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it is a nomenclature for people that have some black blood in them that's evident through their physical features. That's what I'm going to call mulata. I don't know if that's right, but that's what I'm going to say. So that's what I believe. So Maria mulata is like a crow-looking type bird, black. But then I learned about in 2005 when I moved there and I was still looking at birds. I was watching pigeons in New York and I found it fascinating to watch the birds in Colombia. The female is brown. Okay, so maybe you're like, yeah, that's what happens. Like you think of peacocks, right? Peacocks are very different between the male and female. Well, maybe that's all birds. I have no idea. I'm learning. I don't know. I don't know enough. But it made me think this is why there's bird watching, because it's probably the only way that we can watch how males and females build a nest. She has eggs, whatever, she produces eggs that are fertilized, and she puts her body on them and keeps them warm, and eventually they turn into little cute lives. But before that, the male and the female, I've heard this from several people, and I think I've seen it on videos, but I'm just like, as you probably know, I try to get information from people directly that have no reason to lie to me, that I just randomly talk with. They are the male and the female are working together to make a nest to make babies. Okay? That's like the super definition of dioecious, which I just looked at today in my dictionary that's sitting right beside me, which I can show you if you'd like. And in that dictionary, it states that dioecious is the Greek root of the word comes back from like one house. Isn't that neat? Or one home. So if birds are also dioecious, which meaning they need a father and they need a mother to make eggs in the future, we should be watching them. Right? We should be. Hey, Sea Lightning. Hey, thank you so much. Good to see you. Good to see that you're writing here with lightning bolts, which are a satanic message, but that's all okay. I understand that it means probably something very good. Electricity, but mine is salt electricity. If we're looking at males and females in a natural sense, and then think about how the birds use their voice. Okay, so today I was just sitting here with my daughter in this chair, and it rained, and then I commanded the clouds to go away, and the sun came out right then within 25 seconds. Then all you have to do is just say, "Go away, clouds, you don't belong here. Come on out, sun." That's what I'm doing. I don't know. It's been working. So the birds, I heard them chirping just now. And anytime I hear the birds chirping, I just feel like that's a really good sign. I'm like, they're hanging around my house. They like what I'm doing with my food forest. I'm putting as much as I can from my kitchen that is pure and good into the ground. I walked my whole property today in the front and watered it and talked to it and observed. And I looked at my cotton plants that are growing. And listen, looking at leaves is a very serious art. And I think that's another thing that we need to teach children is we need to teach children how to, or we need to teach each other and children what leaf is what. Because when they're young, it is very hard to tell. I'm all new to this. I'm just being very honest. And I was thinking today about how all these gardening channels that I have followed, like I haven't followed like super intensely because I really want to learn it empirically, but they're like vague. Let's just put it that way. And then just now, I have it inside. I was reading, or in the last hour, I was reading how to plant these new, allegedly organic onions. And I read it with great diligence. And there's a huge focus on nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So nitrogen, looked it up in my dictionary. I'm going to get up and show it to you. Okay, so. Okay. Now, do you see why it was an effort for me to do that? Okay, so I'm looking at this. And I look up nitrogen. And I tried to look in here. It only has one reference to nitrogen. Really? This is like allegedly a college, and I'm sorry to use the word so much, but it seems appropriate. This is a college, what do they call it? Group designed tome Bible for college students about chemistry, and it's not clear what nitrogen is. But nitrogen is 5-10-5 or something like that. They have some stupid ass formula with numbers because, you know, they always do this stuff. They put us in codes and stuff. So you're supposed to have, I don't know, some crazy shit like 5 parts nitrogen and 10 parts phosphorus and 5 parts, what did I just say? Potassium. So if you look at other videos, I talk about how potassium actually is potato ash, and it comes from the word potash. And that phosphorus, I've ad nauseum gone into that. phosphorus, and then nitrogen. So I love Pete and Peter, Peter and Pete, Pete and Peter. Check my channel, and I have the link to their channel, which is fantastic. They're fantastic chemistry guys, physics guys. They're much more than what they claim they are. They have expanded my mind tremendously. And water is water. So learning that water is water and air is air, like oxygen is also a construct. Nitrogen is a construct. That's what I'm going to say right today. Maybe I'm going to change the title of this video. Nitrogen is a construct. Birds and nitrogen, maybe I'll call it. Nitrogen, from the definition of the dictionary I just picked up, and from a lot of, I don't know, I'm going to say 5 or 6 hours of research, I think that nitrogen is the gaseous state of fluoride or phosphorus. Excuse me, not fluoride. See, I do this, so I probably made mistakes in other videos. I believe that this shit's fucking complicated. All right, it's hard. So I'm going to give myself a break on that, and I hope you will too. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Tony. Thank you, gentlemen. I will be reading the comments in a minute. So I just double checked, and phosphates seem to be a substantial matter, like a physical matter. And I think that maybe nitrogen is in the construct, phosphorus in the air, which allows for a flame or some kind of ionic reaction. That's what I'm going to say nitrogen is. Okay, so then they tell all these people that think that they're growing plants in a natural way to put that they need nitrogen. It's like vitamins, you guys. It's all fake, in my opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. It's, in my opinion, all really not real. Because the more that you ask, who wrote this? Who are you who wrote this? What was the motivation behind you writing this? Who paid you to write this? What is the empirical data behind your conclusion on what this is? And my journey in my life right now, I think for the rest of my life, and I hope yours too, is to observe nature, observe what I just had a wonderful conversation with my daughter about what dust is. And she said, Mom, when I put my foot in the sand and the dust kicks up, then that's how the way that the dust sticks on my leg makes me think that, okay, the wind or whatever brings the dust through. And she's right here serving me something. Just like the last time I was, this is amazing. Thank you so much. Darn it, it's the same thing, but she cooks more things than this. Thank you so much. I love you. I am excited. Look at these beautiful eggs with tomatoes. Nice. Thank you, sweetheart. This looks beautiful. I'm going to take a bite, and I know it's going to be amazing.
I want to see it.
So funny that there's only one other video where she's brought me food, and here's another one.
Delicious.
It's exactly what I wanted. Come here, let me.
Can I try?
Yes, you can try. It's perfect.
I haven't tried mine.
Did you make some for you?
No.
So these are eggs from the chickens at my mother's.
No.
Thank you so much. And you put some milk in it? You put raw milk in it?
Yeah. Now, don't you see the little whites?
Well, that white's actually from the yolk.
I know, but that's.
But I can tell by the fluffiness.
Yeah. And
this is all chemistry. I can tell by the fluffiness that this is. Go ahead, eat. That this is an effect from the raw cow's milk that she added. And it's in beef tallow from Florida beef. It has no hormones, no antibiotics, grass-fed and not grass finished. So, perfect meal. That's nice. I mean, tomatoes, I still have a lot of questions about carbohydrates as a whole thing. Anyway, getting back to birds. The birds, I think, are the key for us to learn how to live together harmoniously. Yes.
Can I please do Just Dance?
Yes.
Thank you.
Where's your sister?
She's upstairs.
Okay. So, the more that we can observe nature to understand how we are supposed to live, I think, as long as they're dioecious, is the key to fertility, which fertility means infinity. Because if there's no babies, there's nobody to see the future, right? And I think that people forget that because we're in our day-to-day and we're in a lot of stress, and forget that the most important sharing of knowledge we can do is with the young children and the young minds. I mean, they're basically, aside from, thank you so much, the four of you that are here, I'm very grateful. I find that children enjoy talking to me, and thank you so much for you being here. But it's just like so many things that I was taught were lies, that it's so refreshing to be around young minds that can verify and say, yeah, Mom, that makes sense, or that doesn't make sense, right? And that's what I wanted to share in my adventures today, in my getting back to my food forest. So I'm going to glance at the comments right now. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hey. Oh, you didn't know that lightning bolts were bad. Only trying to wake up people that they can see lightning bolts 100 plus miles away. Horizon is oh so flat. Absolutely. And I know you are. And that's your name, is see lightning 300 miles. And you can see it that far away, which, I have like, you have expanded my mind so much, sea lightning, that I'm so grateful to you in so many ways, starting with the coffee comment. But sea lightning enlightened me to the idea that the coffee bean is actually a seed burnt 3 times or heated 3 times. And I've been repeating that, and I always want to give you credit because it makes me think of chocolate as well. And then it makes me go into this whole seed referencing in the Bible. And there's a lot of biblical people in the FE community, flat earth community, that also talk about the seed war and all this stuff. And I think all of this is absolutely connected to the alchemic strategy for depopulation. And this is for entertainment purposes only. But so last night I was reading, before I went to bed, Carl Jung, Jung, I don't know if I say it right, Jung. And there's a book I picked up that's about Carl Jung and evil. And he, in one of the chapters, is about what alchemy got wrong. So I was like, woo, this is like chapter for me. Very interesting, a lot of very interesting observations. And I think, I forgot where I was going with that because it's overwhelming. Oh, seeds. So it occurred to me, I don't know, is it possible that some stones are actually old seeds? Okay, that's just a crazy idea, but I just think so much of these rocks that we see, I don't know. Let me go to the comments because that's enough. That's what I want to talk about. All right. Oh boy, here we go into nitrogen. Awesome. I'm psyched. All right. So they make nitrogen pellets from natural gas. So natural gas, from what I understand, is compressed petroleum, right? From underground. And you can't have natural gas unless you have a petroleum channel, I don't forget the word, nearby. And you say they make nitrogen pellets from natural gas. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't. What the fuck is a pellet? Do they sell pellets? So they sell you pellets. I don't know. I haven't looked into this. So okay. So the petroleum makes plastic, right? I worked in plastic. But I was just thinking about it today in the yard. I was like, I got to re-up myself with plastic because I was believing in a particular construct in 2020 that maybe now I could expand on. All right. Thank you for the information. Thank you so much, Tony, that you're here. Okay. Phosphate is mined from a rock. And thank you for commenting about the food. So, isn't phosphate essentially the raking, for lack of a better term, of the earth, which would mean, let's say, I have no idea. I am probably wrong, and I am probably wrong big time. But I'm just going to throw this out. I want to offer this idea, and then you guys, anybody, please comment. When they say phosphate mining, are they talking about scraping the top of land where animals have died, leaves have fallen, trees have died, uh, life has lived, and then they rake up what I just wrote today, the expired life. Do they take the expired life of the land and then process it into what we know, which are fertilizers, pesticides, natural flavors, all the things that are making us fat, colors, all that stuff in our food, and metals? Is that only developed from the scraping of land? And is the state I'm living in and anywhere where there's phosphate mining actually land that may have been higher before, like altitude wise, or above sea level? And then I don't know. And maybe there's nothing wrong with it. And if it's not bothering anybody else, that's interesting. But this is my journey and it's my channel, so I can say whatever the hell I want. And for whatever reason, we know the root word of phosphates. And I just think that at least, I think there's two types of fires. And I'm going to define it this way. And that's the lightning bolt, okay? So it's a whole lightning bolt thing, totally see lightning. You got to look into it. It all has to do with phosphorus, which has to do with the Freemasons, which has to do with what their ultimate belief system is in Lucifer, which is a light bringer. And light bringer means phosphoros, which means, which was the Greek god light bringer. So I don't think those are coincidences. And I have worked a lot of years in words, and I speak Spanish, and I'm interested in other languages. And I really think they're controlling us with words and that in symbols and these lightning bolts or many things that I've used many times. And I think something today I probably showed because it's been so ingrained in us, especially at my age, to believe in symbols and in words to songs. And in bands, like I think AC/DC has the lightning bolt. And we think of Ben Franklin with his kite, which I really want to look into again now. I want to look into the Ben Franklin kite lightning thing, right? Okay, I'm going back to comments. All right. Love Kung Fu, thank you for being here. Thank you so much. FE Nation, thank you so much for hanging out on this Sunday afternoon. All right, let me read this up close because I'm still improving my eyesight. I have seen lightning bolts at 300 miles plus. My record is 520-mile lightning bolts by eye. Verified distance with the radar app, and that was the only storm showing Crazy, but I don't lie. I love it that you don't lie. That's so beautiful, and I believe you. That's wow. So definitely it's flat. I did a video on those stone spheres being petrified seeds. Oh, some are split, showing what looks like a yolk inside seeds and eggs. Wow, that's a lot to think about, and I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Fantastic. Okay, we've got to keep talking. Hi, Rico. How's it going? Please, please, Love Kung Fu. Please, share that link here if you're allowed to. If you have to put spaces in, I think everybody will understand. There is a lot about seeds that we don't know. So I made the decision today to put a sign in my front yard that says, it's handwritten. It just rained, so maybe it's faded, but I'm gonna put it up again tomorrow. I put really clearly, dioecious seeds needed, and I put needed in cursive, so it looked really friendly. And then I put in, and that was in like thicker letters that you could drive by and read it, or at least it would inspire your curiosity that the next time you drive by my house, you'll slow down and read it or take a picture. I don't know, just an idea. I did it before in July and made me feel better. So dioecious seeds, if you haven't seen my video on this, I've done a video about the importance of seeds. And dioecious seeds means that there are two individual plants, a mother and a father, that thus then create the fruit. Whereas 85% of the produce sold today in the world is monoecious, meaning that the male and the female are on the plant stalk, and or hermaphrodite, which means that the male and female parts are on the flower. So my humble, probably incorrect hypothesis is that maybe, okay, did I like couch that okay so nobody gets mad? Because I'm not looking to get mad. I'm just looking for your opinion so that we can all go on this ride together and try to figure this shit out, maybe for fertility. I'm not looking to get anybody in trouble. I don't even know where to start because I worked there too. But is it possible that the whole monoecious and hermaphrodite plants were actually designed through grafting? And I have direct knowledge from a local who has been in citrus for generations, who said to me, we do not go to the cell level for grafting, for getting these different types of oranges. So I'm proud of my sign that I put up today. Dioecious seeds needed. Or if it did fade, I'm going to make a new one. And you can do this too in your front yard or on your apartment door or wherever you're living. Just put it on your car window. Wanted or seeking, this is what I said, seeking dioecious seeds. So look it up, you guys. Tell me what you think. But I definitely, I've been on this for about a year, this idea, and I didn't know the word dioecious until like a couple months ago. So everything in its time, no stress. We got to stay in the flow. This is all about flow. And that's also going back to the birds. I mean, I just think about it more and more. Like, look at the birds. Like, so I watched the bird on the beach, and I watched the brown female with the black male. That's what I remember. If I'm wrong, someone please correct me. As far as the coloring of the birds, and I sat and watched. Oh, my cat's back, and the male was walking away. Come here, baby. Hi, Malibu. The male's walking away, and the female was behind the bird going, wah, 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 wah. It was like totally nagging him. And I thought, well, why doesn't he fly away, right? He didn't fly away. He kept walking and letting her, they were this close, and she's behind him, like nagging him. wah, 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 in a voice. And I think when we listen to birds, I thought the birds just all made the same sound. So like if you saw a blue jay, he made this sound. That's what I thought. And I have not looked into this, and you probably know a lot more than me, but I think that they all have unique voices within their voice tones, and that they're looking for the match, the male or the female, depending on who's got more salt in them, more character or whatever. I don't know. And I think it depends on the bird. But they tend to be monogamous. That's what I've learned. They're monogamous. And that's why I think that sorry, it took me so long to get to that. But I think that's why these bird watchers go, these very wealthy people go on expensive bird watching expeditions, because they want to know the secret to monogamy. Come here, Malibu. So I'm excited that my cat came and he meowed to tell me that he was here when I was just talking about that. That's cool, right? That's all nature. It's not coincidence. It's not coincidence. This cat has another 10 acres to roam on our property and can go another wherever he wants. And he just came over here, and he is not castrated. Thank God. He's so beautiful. Okay. Hi, Rico. Yes, I said hi to you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for asking for likes. You know, I'm just cool that I'm able to talk here. White female with a black male, very modern. Interesting. Right. Okay. But in the birds, it was a light brown. It was a brown female with a black male. The origins of life, chakras, micro and macro. There's another one where I show the smaller stone sphere too. I'm very. Please share in the chat, and please put it in a comment so that we can keep this conversation going to understand geology and seeds. Come here. Did you hear that? Come here. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here, and I hope everyone is having a beautiful Sunday afternoon wherever you are, and keep looking up at the sky, looking at the birds. You hear the birds? There's so much communication going on in vibrations, and I think that vibrations may only come from animals or organisms that have salt in them. And if you'd like more information about that, you can check out my other content here on the channel. Okay, thank you so much for being here. It makes me feel really good, because I hope you speak out when you feel comfortable and talk to people, because I strongly feel the only way out of this is good conversations, primarily one-on-one, in person. They can gauge your energy, talk to them, and see and determine if you're going to continue talking to them. And if they are not receptive, then just walk away. But I believe that the good nature rewards those of us that are seeking fertility, that are seeking continued life. And continued life at this moment is under attack. And the only way to move this forward faster is enlightening young minds in a good way. And unfortunately, a lot of young minds are being captured right now by the screens they're watching and by parents that aren't paying attention, because we know how wonderful it is to have a free moment and not have to worry about the children and then give them a screen. And I do it, and I know it, and I know it. But what is extremely important to understand is that the algorithms are getting stronger and stronger. And my daughter just admitted to me, and if she had not told me, which I recognize, and I told her that, I said, it's my fault that you didn't feel comfortable enough to come up and tell me this. But their friends were over, and they were doing an innocent dance videos that I've already approved and I've seen. And during that video, she said they didn't touch anything. That a very creepy image came on with a woman with very little clothes on, and that her older sister was trying to erase it really quick. So you can interpret what that is. We now know that there is pornography for 8-year-old boys being pushed out through video game content and through these other YouTube safe child content. We must be vigilant. Anybody here who's got children or grandchildren, we have got to tell people, be careful. And be careful with your earbuds. Don't use earbuds. If you can, use, ideally, like I'm recording this, you can hear me evidently. There's no speaker. I bought this computer at a pawn shop. There's no need for those, for the earphones. The earphones are to continually control us, and I will maintain that the base vector for that is electromagnetic frequencies. And I'm going to end this video with this. So our daughter was very excited about an event with a group of other homeschooling children, and it was a dance. And I thought, well, okay, I own a live music bar. I am all about dance parties. Like, I want people to dance. I like heterosexual dancing, and I love that people just feel the music in any way they want to and dance. Dancing, I think, is extremely important for our vibrations. And I think that doing it together is key. And I will tell you why I can say this with absolute just appreciation of dancing in groups, because I have been in aerobics classes that since I was 13 years old. And then I was in jazz, and then I was in funk, and then I was in hip hop, and then I was in every kind of exercise dance class I could find in every aspect of my life until now. In this decade of my life, I have enjoyed dancing with other women and men, and in a group. That's key. Well, unfortunately, the event they had was headsets. So the children were each wearing their own headset, and they could change the channel and dance to whatever they wanted to while they're in a room with another 40 children and not connecting. But my daughter told me she had a great time, and then they took off their headsets and they talked. So anyway, gotta go.
She wants you to talk to you.
Okay. Hold on one second, baby. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll read the comments. Hopefully I'm going to see them. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. What's that? Who? Ken?
That